Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Liz. Let me make sure you guys aren't shaking. All right, I'm gonna scoot. I think that's good, right? Yeah, okay. I wanted to come on here and share with you guys my guest design team project for Heather over at Ruby and Pearl XO. So yeah, I'm gonna do like a little guest spot for her Ruby Tuesday. I'm gonna put all of her information, hopefully I can get, all the links and stuff straight, because I'm just terrible about that. But I'm going to do the video first, and then I'm going to go post it on Instagram, so that way I can put in my description that the video is already up and rolling. So let's get right into it. So I used a couple, she has so many beautiful kits, and I used bits and pieces from a lot. Let's see, I know this one is from the 38 Rue Bourbon, this gorgeous floral image right here. I think I used some from Camilla, and I think I used some, I think I did La Luna too. I know I used some from Boho Butterfly, the French Ledger Florals, Mademoiselle, and I had some of her earlier kits, like this one, already printed on some ledger. So I had so many different ideas to print on. I love printing on the transparency paper, and the vintage glassine, and the what else? Oh, the vellum and stuff like that. My printer is just it's acting crazy. Like big nice sheets like that. So thank goodness I had some left over from another project. I have a lot, actually. I went crazy printing her digitals on Ledger a while back, so thank goodness. So as you can see, hopefully from this side right here, this is the book I used, and I stuck with a lot of green. I don't know why. Green seems to be like my color lately. So let's get right into it. I'll show you guys this after I do the flip through of this one. This is kind of like a pack that's going to go with it, because this book is a little on the small side. I'll give you guys the measurements, so not everything fit, because it was already chunky. So this is an authentic antique 18, I'm gonna say like 1823, maybe 1825, French book that I gutted. The spine was in amazing condition, so I didn't alter it at all. So it's about 4.5 by 7, a little shy of 7, and the spine I think is 3/4. Let's double check. Yeah, it's about 3/4 of an inch. Okay. So on the closure, I used this gorgeous vintage clip-on earring that went perfectly. You know how you just hoard stuff and you're like, I know there will come a day when the project will fit perfectly with this. And it was a match made in heaven. So it worked out really well. And additionally, I tied this gorgeous piece of sari silk around it, which I think I knotted. So didn't mean to. Oh, it's just a lot of, let me clip those. Well, looks like all the strings kind of got stuck together. There we go. I'll have to trim those. So I wrapped it around a couple times, so you have some growing room, right? And so these two, this is a piece of antique textile. I think it was like an antique curtain right there. This is from, she's got a bird's digital, and it has the most gorgeous smaller images. Of course you can size stuff down, but it has such perfectly sized images, just like this, perfect for tags and little pieces of ephemera. So I covered this with the vintage glassine. So this is a pocket right here. Let me grab something to show you guys. So you can stick something here. I just wanted to make sure it was pretty in case you didn't want to put anything in there. And there's some antique French ledger on the back of each one of these. So you have 2 pockets, or not, whichever you choose. So I'll set those there. Let's get right into this. This might be long. I'll try to hurry up. I'll point out the digitals from Heather. I'll point out the authentic stuff. I'll try to go a little fast, okay? So this is a digital. These are great. These go good anywhere and everywhere. So reinforce the spine with some muslin, and here's also some vintage fabric. So it is nice and sturdy, not going anywhere. This is also a digital from Ruby and Pearl. So I put 2 of those, one on each of the covers, because I didn't add any pockets. I didn't want to cover up the marbled paper. I wanted to leave that as untouched as I could. All right. So here is a vintage greeting card. It's a wedding one, and it's green, right? So I have some green throughout. This is another printable. This one was from her birds as well. So this is a little tuck, and here's some more of that antique ledgers, 1869. Yeah, I think it's 69. So here's a little, you know, Christmas tag from 1916. That just kind of slid in there, so you see a little bit out of it. And I stuck that in the side of this greeting card, so it can, you know, it comes right out nice and easy. Okay, this is one of the original book pages from this book, and I love it because it's got this gorgeous, oh, watch out, because it's got the gorgeous, you know, decoration, I guess. This is some collaging. This is part of one of Heather's, the French florals that she did, like layering wallpaper and whatnot. So I tore a piece of that, and there's a stamp, a die cut. This is real French antique wallpaper. This is a printable from Heather as well, and so is this. That's wrapping around this page. So you can take this off and write on it, stick it back. It's very pretty. All right, this is a printable. So I did a lot of collaging with wallpaper and printables. This is also from Heather, and I jazzed it up, and so is the inside. This is, oh, I can't remember which kit it's from. If I had the wallpaper, I'd show you handy. So anyway, so this is just a tag. Trying to see if I have, I'm sorry, y'all. I know I have it somewhere, but I'm not going to sit here and do that. Okay, so here's some antique French ledger on the back. Okay, this is authentic vintage wallpaper. This one's from the 40s. And so this is just a piece of collaged like French agenda from, this one was like early 1900s, late 1800s, but I just collaged that on there so you have somewhere to write. Okay, this is a printable from Heather, and it wraps, I think this one wraps to the other page. Some of them are broken up. Here's a piece of antique French copy paper, like a letter. Right. This is from an antique French fashion magazine, and here's another one of those little stamps. They're just so cute, just like that one. Well, it's not exactly the same, but they just go good everywhere. It's a little bitty baby fold. This is antique French ledger. We got a tab. Antique wallpaper, antique wallpaper, antique ledger, antique wallpaper. Here's some coffee dyed paper. Here's a postcard that I did snip a little bit off. I didn't like the front. So, again, like in my last video, I mentioned, if I don't like the front, I'll use the back, because the backs always have pretty handwriting. So, I turned that into a pocket, and this is some of Heather's wallpaper from her digitals in her shop, and it was green, so it went well. This, I'm trying to see, sorry, there's a picture of a waterfall. Yeah, these were labeled Columbia River Highway. Horsetail Falls. So, we got that going on. I love these blue stamps. This is a piece that I scanned that I have. It's just, that's gorgeous. Here's some antique wallpaper. This one's green. This one has, like, sometimes you can rub, I don't know if you can tell. It has the powdery stuff that can come off on your fingers. So, you know, whoever gets this, just be aware. All right, so this was left over. This was a printable as well. So what I did was, I ran it through my die cut machine and put some acetate there, so you have a window. And this tag, that's where this tag resides. So you can take that out, move it around. This is another printable from Heather. This was like a scrap that I had left over. but I put that on like a glassine envelope. It's a vintage envelope, so you can store stuff in there. All right, so here's the other side of the ledger. This is also a printable from Heather. And I turned that one into a top. Oh, I do have it. So yeah, here's the wallpaper. And she did amazing things with the color. Look at that. So here's the original, right? And this is hers. Look at the color. She did such a good job getting that color saturated. I mean, not too often does scans, you can get wallpaper to scan amazing. I'm not a professional by any means, but this shade of pink is just fabulous. So hats off to her. And here's a little tag. This one's from one of her kids too. And I love this because you got the gorgeous script. You know, it's kind of sized down, so you have a little bit of the postmark there, but you also have some pretty stuff going on. There's some antique French ledger that I backed it on. That's its home right there. This one folds out, so you have some room. This is also a printable from Heather, Ruby and Pearl. All right, antique French wallpaper. The other side of the ledger. Here's the other side of the fashion magazine. And here's the other side of the French copy paper. And here's the other side of the printable. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Just sit here and look at it. And this one's flipped up, so is the other side. So here's the other side. So if it was flipped down, you can tell. And here's some more. This one I embossed just like I did on the inside of this one. It's just another piece. Okay. And here, what do I got in here? So this is some antique French, real antique French wallpaper. This is a vintage French photo that I got. Oh, this is so cute. So I got these not too long ago. These are baby antique French, like, maybe guest cards, like invitation things. I haven't even translated it. I should have translated it. It wouldn't be that hard. It's legible, but it's so small and adorable. So these came from France like not too long ago, so I was excited I got to use it. Okay, so other pages. This is the other side of this one. This is a printable. This is real antique French wallpaper. Okay, here's the other side of the greeting card. There we go. So on to the second signature. This is part of a vintage or antique, probably vintage greeting card. This one has roses, but it's green and it's embossed, so you can see some of the texture. This is a printable. And so is this side. Look at that. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite images. It's very, very ornate. It would look great on coffee dyed paper. It would look great on any paper. All right, so this is authentic antique French notebook paper, maybe poetry or school book, I'm not sure. Here's another one of the little rose stamps from her shop. Here I put, this is why the book like bulked up super quick. I put a piece of antique crazy quilt in here. I'll show you the other side. But I just wrapped it around like it was a page and I folded it. So you have, you know, you can clip this out and take the piece out. It would be cut, you know, you can't just rip it. But, you know, you can cut this, you can cut pieces off, you can, you know, do whatever or leave it there. Antique French ledger. And this one, this is part of a greeting card, this rose. So that's just clipped there. Do something fun with that. So this folds out. Here's some antique wallpaper, this pocket. And here is a window. So it's a little tag. Well, it's not very little. All right, so I have like collaging on this side with some butterflies and stuff. And here's an image from one of her kits. And we got some green ribbon up there. And here's the other side of the, well, not the other side. Here's the other piece of the die cut. So it was like this. And this is also a printable from her. So it was just, it's gorgeous. It pained me to run it through my die cutter, but away I went, right? And the greens were really neat. So let's see if I can get this back in there without getting none crazy angled here. Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure it slid in and out fairly easily. Okay. All right, and there we go. All right, so this pink right here is also a digital from Heather, and this I cut out of a book, this black and white photograph, and I wrapped it around the other side. This was her French florals, the ledger. It's gorgeous. All of the ledger pages are really pretty. They came out really good. Whoop. All right. Here's some antique French ledger. It's the 1850s. Keeps popping up. Sorry about that. Here's part of a greeting card. So I stuck this. This is like the middle of a signature. So I stuck this on the other side of the ledger. And these were both super thin, so I couldn't put anything chunky in there. So here's a piece of like a Sears and Roebuck, like the corset page. It's a reprinted book. It's not an original copy, but this greeting card made a pretty pocket, so I want to put something in there. All right, and the other side of that digital. Look at the roses. Oh, they're just so pretty. And okay, so this one's folded. Here's the other side of the picture I cut out of the book, the black and white. This is the printable, okay? And here is some antique French velvet. It feels really good. Here's a little tag. This part is a printable, and this part's wallpaper, some French wallpaper that I put on. This was also like a little piece that I just like kind of tore out because the writing was so tiny. Okay, antique wallpaper, the other side of the crazy quilt. Make sure I'm still in frame. I'm like, I get to moving and it just gets away from me. This one's cool because it's got some like real cool font there that someone did. Here's this other side of the butterfly. It's probably from Boho Butterfly, one of her kits. Let's see, on the other side of this, I originally wanted to put all different kinds of fonts in here. That was kind of my thinking from the start. I just wanted it to be handwriting and font and stuff like that. And I tried to put a lot of that in here. As you know, like you want to go one direction and it just kind of, it grows and morphs into its own. So this is also a piece like from the little cut aparts, like the floral stamps and stuff. It's that. Here's the antique French magazine page, like a fashion page. Here's some antique French ledger, and I embossed it. Here's some antique wallpaper. So that one folds out. Antique wallpaper, butterfly, copy done paper. This is a page from the book. This is a printable from Heather. This one's pretty too. That one's got pretty font. That's why I put it on the edge there. This side is a piece of the French florals, the French ledger florals, and I flipped it over. So it's printed double sided. So this is also a printable from Heather. And I love that font and the ornate design around it, as is this as well. And this is some lace that she did, and that looks really cool. Like I have this one that I cut out. I had it cut out to put in here. I didn't end up using it anywhere, but it just looks so realistic, right? Looks really good. It's the same like with this one, little sample pieces. This one's backed, so you can write on that. I put like a little label thing there, so you can jot down notes. This was a piece from her bird kit again. That one's fairly new. One of the newer ones. She has a lot, but I think this one was from one of her newer ones, and they're just gorgeous. There's lots of real pretty images in there. Antique ledger. This was digital as well. This one's cool because it's got the like broken music paper at the top. So, and this one's folded over. I was gonna put like a pocket here, but this, it just got super, super bulky. So that's what I like to do sometimes with these side tucks, is add like a little pocket here. So like a pocket that you stick something like this way. Here's some antique wallpaper, and this one has like bronze, like a bronze paint on it, colors. That one's really cool. I don't think I've seen a bronze one. I've seen gold and silver, different metallics. That's like that's the first time I have seen that shade. This is also a printable, one of Heather's from her kits, so check that out, because a lot of these cut aparts and collage sheets, they have lots of really cool images, so you can use it as a whole, or you can cut them apart, obviously, which I like to do because I like to randomly stick stuff there. And this is also a digital right there on the side. And let's see what I got here. This one was tricky because it folded like so many different directions. It's so tricky to put in here. I wanted like a big spread, almost like a diagram style, but I wanted to use the full spread, and this book was not, it was not having it. So I had to kind of fiddle with it. But I liked how it came out. I like doing that. I love using the full pages of stuff like that. They always look really cool. So I had on this side clipped, this is some antique French wallpaper that I put on the spine, some authentic wallpaper of this French ledger. So I stamped there so you could jot some notes or something there. So I had this clipped here, and it's also to hold in the other side of that fold out. So that works out well. All right, this is some antique French wallpaper. I'm trying to think this antique, 19 something. It may not be antique. 21, maybe. I think it's 21. Anyway, so I put this this die cut, this rose there, and here is a tag. This is this is the same wallpaper right here. This was kind of left over from making this tag. Isn't that pretty? I love that pink. So there's some French ledger on the back of that. Some authentic French ledger. And here's the other side of this one, so you can see how pretty it is. Here's one side, here's the other. It just looks really good. All right, so ledger. This was from her French ledgers, the floral, the wallpaper ones. And as you can see like the broken pieces of the wallpaper that she did, or she made that way. I think they were obviously broken. So this one's flipped up to make the pocket as well. And in here is a French letter. Oh, 1926. That's the letter. Yeah, okay. So the letter's in here. 16. So yeah. I think the other one is that date too. I have another one, I think, in that folder. I'm trying to remember what date that is. Here's the book page from this book. Okay, this is a little tag. Oh, these clips sometimes get caught in the sewing. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this one, this little piece right here is from like one of the lace strips. So it's kind of like, here's the label for the lace. That's how it was. So I cut out this and put this ledger label there. This is a printable from her, and it was, I think it was a music piece, but I just wanted this side, this little piece for the tag. And in here I stuck this one. It's so cute. It's a piece from a vintage greeting card, and I really wanted to use it somewhere, and I didn't get to, but it fit really good in here, and I didn't want to sew a tab or anything on it, because I wanted whoever got this to be able to use it as they wanted to. So I left it the way it was, the way I cut it out. Antique French wallpaper, antique ledger, French ledger, and antique wallpaper. Oh, I'm not done. I'm sorry. Here's the other side of the French fashion. It's got some embroidery. And that's the end of the book. Okay, and as you can see, it's like, it's puffy. It's chunky. Okay, now this pack here, just tied it with some jute. Okay, and So here's a tag. Like I said, this flower image is a printable, it's a digital, and I just added, you know, the Dresden and the collaging. This is some antique wallpaper, golden wallpaper, and in the back here's a pocket. Here's some little pieces from her kits that I love doing this. I don't know if you guys do this. I do it with washi tape all the time. So if I get scraps and like say they're too small for like to back a tag or something, I keep my oh my gosh, I don't even like, what are these scissors called? Anyway, the sewing scissors, this with the serrated edge, right? I keep these in the front desk because I'm always using these. I use these to cut washi tape, so you get the serrated edge on the washi tape. I use them to cut this so I can get like a little stamp-like shape. These cut paper really well. I'm like having a little, like my brain is not working at all. So there's the pocket. It's a little tip to help you utilize pretty scraps because they're always pretty. All right, so this was a piece of antique French ledger that I had printed one of her digitals on. So what I did was I folded it in half. I added some, this is some antique French fabric here. It's got some gold. It kind of reminds me of calligraphy. I've kind of been saving this piece that I wrapped around. Looks like someone practiced calligraphy like right on the fabric. So anyway, here's some, these are some French wallpaper tabs that I put on each side. And I put all the extra pieces in here that like I usually put in journals, maybe I didn't have room or that I wanted to add. Here is some vintage, I think it's from the 40s, maybe 50s. These are some upholstery fabric pieces, but they're green. They got the fleur-de-lis on them and they look pretty aged. They're not, like this is how the fabric was made, but they're very pretty. And here's some antique French letters, right? I'm not going to unfold this one. This one's got some really gorgeous script in it. Every time I do, especially on camera, I end up ripping the top. So I'm going to leave it, okay? And here's another one. And this one also has the letter in it. So you have these two letters right there. Here's some green wallpapers that I put in here. They're pretty good sized pieces. This one's folded in thirds, but I wanted you to get some of the roses. There's some flourishes there. Okay. This one I wanted to get most of the sconce, but I wanted you to get the gold and the green flourishes, the gold and the silver. These colors are fabulous on this one. And this one. So this one's folded. Is this one folded in thirds or half? I think this one's folded in thirds too. So you have like three pieces that are like this size. But I did have to fold it, so I'm sorry. So it might have creased. I know that's terrible. Here's some antique French dictionary page that I stamped on for you. So you can use that. Antique French ledger. This is the, I don't have the many 1860s. I don't have that many pieces of this one. This one came in the very back of a ledger book, a huge ledger book. But the very back, like maybe 10, 15 pages was this texture, and I've never seen, you know, this type of textured paper before. So that's special. I love that. Old receipt from the 1800s. Was it 1860s? So it's like double-sided. So you have two, well, technically one, depending on how you use it. So here's some antique ledger. This one is American, so it's in English. It's like a general store, you know, listing type ledger. But again, with the handwriting, I want to give lots of really pretty samples of handwriting. Here's some antique ledgers. Is this one in German? Let me see. Yeah, I think this one is. Because, yeah. So this one's German. I have one that's mostly German, but it has like a little bit of English kind of sprinkled in there. Some music paper, antique music paper. Let's see. French, here's a French invoice, but it's got a green truck. So sticking with some of the green. Let me keep piling. I want to make sure I keep these piled the right way. Here's some French writing. So made in 1877. Here's some French writing. This is from a notebook. I don't know the date of this one. I'm sorry, you guys. Here's some document page. This is the nice, you know, thick cotton rag paper. This one's double-sided. Let's see. So here's a big piece of the glassine from that, like an old vintage stamp album. It's folded in fourths, so you have a piece that's about 4 times this size. Here's some antique ledger that is folded in thirds. And this one has plenty of room on it, so you can use it for tags or, you know, to make labels, to write on it, etc. All right, let me see if I can put these back in here. And then I just tucked them inside this folded piece of ledger. Make sure I tab that up because I don't want them going anywhere. That wallpaper curls. So, all right, that is, oh, forgot this. That is my design team, first ever design team project for Heather over at Ruby and Pearl. So on Etsy, she's Ruby and Pearl XO. She's on Instagram. So you guys go check her out and give her some love. Thanks for stopping by.